Welcome to your favorite YouTube channel. Do not forget to like, comment, and click the red button below your screen to subscribe.
Hello and thanks for staying with us. The Nigerian Customs Service continue to fight duty invaders. Also on Customs Report, the Contract General of Customs speaks on customs advancement in Nigeria. Plus more report. I am Egiseme Itinye. Stay tuned. The Nigerian Customs Service has made a total of 464 billion naira in the first quarter of 2021, while the issue of smuggling from all the borders have continued to increase. But in spite of that, Nigerian Customs Service continue to block all the nooks and corners of smuggling into the country. While the Contractor of Customs continue its briefing with National Assembly members in Abuja.
We have at the port the area controllers and their team. We have the FOU, Federal Operation Unit, and also we have the strike force. And because of the discretion and sometimes the indiscretion of our officers, where compromise is being made between the importers and our officers, we have to put other layers to check these things. And that is why you sometimes will find out, let me say this, that there are cloned custom documents going about. Agents will connive with our officers. When you pay as an importer, you give him the correct duty, he will calculate the correct amount of the duty you're supposed to pay with all charges. He gives you, and you give him the money. He will go and connive with a custom officer and reduce the distance. And then they clone the paper, and you take the vehicle out. For the FOU chap, as far as is concerned, that paper you presented did not meet the requisite requirement. That happens sometimes to innocent importers. There are also importers who connive directly with the agents and reduce the duty. And then expect that that paper, when it's out, that is done. It's not like Bible and Quran, no. It's subject to checking. And if we discover that the value of the car that you are riding is not commensurate with the duty you pay, then you question. And let me also say, the issue of saying you buy a car for 180,000 naira or also euro. Cost duty of car is not only the value of the car you bought the car. There's cost of the vehicle, there's insurance, there's freight. All these are calculated to what you pay as duty. So sometimes we need to ask questions before we begin to fight the system. If they give you an amount, ask the customs officer, what is the composition of this amount? What are the subheads that makes up this total? He will explain to you. It's not only because you bought a car for 130 euro, and therefore you will come and just look at the cost of the car and then no. There's insurance, there's freight. All those are calculated and added to the value based on the cost. So you pay. That's what the law says. So it's not that So let us ask questions. I'm sure our officers will be able to explain some of these things. And that's why the issue of underpayment do arise. Because if you compromise, or your agent compromise, in most cases agent, now we have taken the steps in custom to prosecute agents, because we have discovered that agents are cheating importers. We will give they know the correct charges. They will calculate everything and give it to you, and you give them the money. They will go and take that money, and then if you say your car is 2018 or 2019, they will go and reduce that car to 2009, and then say it's accidental. And they know that the value will drop, and they will pay that. And when you bring that car out, and an FOU officer sees you with that car, and you present that document, he looks at the car, it does not meet that description. And therefore you are liable to pay another money. So this is what is happening. This is what is happening. And we are doing the best we can, but always ask the question. And that's why we're trying to automate the system. By e-custom, you can sit in your house. You want to import Mercedes 250E. You will see the freight, you will see what is the insurance on it, what is the freight on it. You calculate your duty. You can pay online without talking to anybody. Then you can ask an agent to go and collect it for you. It makes it easier. We are trying to automate the system. And once that is automated, this discretion will remove completely. And therefore, agents will not, but today, agents are one of our biggest problems. Because they give a different listing, and they go and do a different thing. And they give you, when they collect the paper, you don't even know which one is genuine, which one is not genuine. As far as we are concerned, you have a genuine custom paper. But by the time the officer looks at it and says it's not genuine, the quarrel will start. How come, is it not from custom that it comes? It might not be from custom. It might not be from custom. So these are some of the things. But we are available for questions. And I want to grab the indulgence of members. If there's an incident that happened where you see that an officer or there's a likelihood of connivance or corrupt activity, please draw our attention. So we are saying any vehicle because the custom has a 7-year, any vehicle that is beyond 7 years should not be imported into this country. That's it. Because in the actual sense, the others are rickety. I've lived in the US. Most of them use their cars for 3, 4, 5 years, and they discard it. They discard it. Once a car gets to 7, 8, 10 years, it's off road. But we go and pick it and bring it here, and then believe that it's a new car. And so once we have a limit, it's better for us, so that we have a roadworthy cars. Equal this, but if we begin to fall far below because the target is set so high, then there will be a problem. So I appeal that we look at these variables and consider the issue of raising the budget, the target to 1.6. We will return to 1.4, and I assure you, anything collected beyond 1.4 will be reflected just like it is reflected in 2020. There's no doubt about that. But our projection is that some of these variables that are...
sorry, Mr. CG, can you move your mic very close so that...
some of these variables that are mentioned will have substantial effect on the collection of duty. So I want you to consider that, Mr. Chairman. Secondly, the issue of scanners. Mr. Chairman, we are more than anybody eager to have scanners at the port because of very many reasons. First and foremost, it will remove completely the issue of contact to contact. Secondly, it will aid us in fast-tracking the process, because where we have to indulge on 100% inspection of a 40-feet container is tedious, is time-consuming. For us, you can scan this within 2 minutes, and it's off. All we need is to get the details and then analyze it. So we are more than anybody eager to have scanners at the port. And that is why steps are being taken. Mr. Chairman, I would want to take this opportunity to inform you and the honorable members that already Minister of Finance has bought 3 scanners, mobile scanners, based on emergency purchase. this May, by the grace of God, those scanners will land the shores of Nigeria and we will deploy them. Then Central Bank, in its own intervention scheme, has also offered to provide 4 scanners for us. Those will be deployed in the 4 land borders entrances that have now been opened for business. The process is ongoing. The Central Bank is going to do the procurement and then hand over those ones to us. But the ultimate, Mr. Chairman and other members, is that the e-custom that we envisage will come into effect very soon has as part of its component 135 scanners that will be deployed in all our ports. That is sea, air, and land borders. So if we systematically take this, and by God's grace, we are able to effect this, then in the next 1 or 2 years, the issue of scanners will be forgone, and our own trade facilitation process will improve. In fact, will pick up. And then we believe that the influx of arms that comes through approved route, and I have repeated this, approved route, will completely be eliminated, because then we have the instrument to be able to detect these things in the containers or in whatever package they are. But the issue of influx of arms in this country does not come through the approved route alone. Some are carried on the back of donkeys through the unapproved route. Some are carried on the back of motorcycles through the approved route. And some of these communities that live in the borders are part of the scheme of moving these things into the country. We have recently lost officers and our vehicles. In fact, for vehicles, I've stopped counting, because every day, every 2 days, I will have a report that our vehicles have been burnt. By who? By hoodlums in conjunction with smugglers. And these are border communities. So when we come and we talk about our interests in the border, what are we doing to also tell our constituencies that they must conform with the laws? They must follow the trend of, in some places, as far as smuggling is concerned, they don't even know that it is wrong, it's against the law. It has happened in Congola when I went on visitation. After talking to the communities, I saw a woman and she greeted me, and I asked her, why is your husband? She said he has traveled. I said, what does he do for a living? She said, don't smuggle. You know? What he does is smuggling. So as far as they are concerned, they don't even really know what is the difference between smuggle and it's a way of life. And unless we educate these people, and we have the responsibility, not only custom, everybody has the responsibility of educating these people on what is right and what is wrong. And that is the only way we, as custom, will be able to enforce the law and get it executed. But if you go and face people who are ignorant of even the law, the first thing to do is to even educate them. And we do not have the capacity to go on community education. We are doing the best we can. But I believe as a people, we have the holistic responsibility to do that to our communities. Mr. Chairman, your next issue is the retained funds. And you spoke about what amount in it is for recruitment. Mr. Chairman, in 2020, we budgeted 6.090 billion for recruitment. And in 2021, we have only spent not more than, now that...
Can you come again, sir? Can you come again?
In 2020, we budgeted 6.090 for recruitment. And then in 2021, we budgeted 8.115. In 2020, we did not.
Sorry, in 2020, there is, apart from that 6 billion, there's another 1.5 for appointment, recruitment, and something like that.
No, what this is, it is.
It is two we had together. It gave us 7.6.
You are watching the program Customs Report. The Ogun Customs Command has warned would-be smugglers to desist from smuggling acts in the country. It made the appeal when it conducted newsmen round the seizures made by the command in the last 3 months. The customs boss urged villagers to desist of the act of smuggling, saying that smuggling does not pay the Nigerian economy.
It is a notorious fact that smuggling activities, as we all know, is a worldwide phenomenon, and Nigeria cannot be in isolation. All over the world, security agencies only try to suppress but not totally eradicate smuggling from the society. And greater suppression of these activities are achieved with greater support from members of the public and patriotic citizens among the media. This has manifested with the recent arraignment of 4 suspected smugglers before the Federal High Court, Abeokuta, Ogun State, on a 5-count charges. We shall continue to ensure that anyone caught indulging in smuggling activities and obstruction of our officers while carrying out their lawful duties is brought to justice. The command will continue to dialogue, engage, sensitize, and educate the public on the socio-economic implication of smuggling, as well as performing its statutory function of enforcing compliance in line with the federal government fiscal policies. We wish to reiterate that the continued attack on operatives of the Nigeria Customs Service and sister agencies will not deter us from the performance of our legitimate duties. Let it also be known that activities embarked upon by the command is a patriotic duty in the interest of national security and economic well-being of Nigeria. Finally, we thank the community leaders, critical stakeholders, and other security agencies who are showing concern and are collaborating with the service for their continuous support.
The Customs Area Controller in charge of Honor 2 has made its of 38 billion naira in 3 months. The Customs Area Controller also said that the command made the seizure of billions of naira from smugglers.
Last year, they were collecting between 7 in January, 7 in February, and 7 in March. So if you compare 38.9 billion with 22.9 billion, there's an increment of over 69% of what was collected last year. Now, in the area of anti-smuggling, we will say it has drastically reduced compared to the activities of last year. So far, we are able to make 12 seizures from January to March this year. And this is as a result of all these interventions I've shown to you. People will come and declare falsely, and then at the end of the day, on physical examination, the true item in the container is found there. Now, in those days, when we are not fully automated, there is communication gap between the origin the goods are coming from and the destination, which is Nigeria. Now, as an importer is loading container into Nigeria, intelligence is reaching Nigeria Customs Service that so-so container number by so-so size is laden with so-so item. So that has further lessened our problems here, because once manifest is transmitted, we are already expecting the arrival of that container. So we are ready for it. Now, when the importers realize that, yes, even if I think customs are not here in the foreign land, but whatever I am loading have already been transmitted to them. So there's no amount of false declaration or deception I will give to them on arrival. They will still discover it. So these have further forced some of them to repent. Not maybe, it may be willingly, but out of the fear that on arrival already the contents of their cargo or of their container is already in the hands of customs, and the eventual thing is that the container will be seized and the importer will be prosecuted. They have now decided to be making true and proper declaration. But they always try to outsmart us, thinking that if they make that declaration electronically, so that is enough to deceive or convince us that yes, he has properly declared what is in the container. So we may relax in the physical examination.
The Customs Area Controller in charge of Upper Customs Command has been explaining the effects of smuggling of fake drugs into the country. He said that the government will not allow any smuggled items to come into the country. He was speaking when he handed over one container of codeine to NDLA in Lagos.
No expiring date is mentioned here. It's just a drug. Maybe it has even expired before it is imported into this country. And they declare it as hot pot. In the manifest, this is what is called hot. So they pay the duty, they want to pay the duty based on this. But the actual things they have here is this consignment. Cough syrup with codeine. And you are all aware that a codeine is banned by the federal government because of its sad effect to human life and to human health. And this man, with his unpatriotic nature, he went ahead to import this. The total cartons on this codeine is 722 cartons, containing 1,444 bottles of codeine inside this container. The intelligence we received from our sister agency, we tracked the container, we waited for the person to appear. After waiting for a long time, then we decided within ourselves that let us strike so that this kind of import will not find its way to the members of the community.
The acting controller in charge of FOU Zone A has made a seizure of 3.1 billion naira for smugglers operating in the country. The Deputy Controller of Customs also said that the customs will continue to block all unapproved routes in the western part of the country. He speaks more on numbers of seizures.
You see, anything said to be illegal, most especially a smuggler like this, then he's bound to face the law. This is why we have now arrested 9 of them, and 2 are already in detention at Ikoyi Correctional Home. Then the remaining 7, they are now in administrative bail. This is soap. That's Iba soap. And in fact, it's banned from coming. You can see the smuggler can risk and then bring them a whole container. And the duty-paid barrel. You can now see this one container of soap, carton of Ever soap. Now the DPV of this soap is 49,879,200. This is the duty-paid barrel. Seized. So it is the seized.
Just before the end of this week edition of the program Custom Support, we brought you a report where seizures for some commands were being showcased to members of the public by the various controllers in the country. For me, Igiseme Etinye, thanks for watching.
Welcome to your favorite YouTube channel. Do not forget to like, comment, and click the red button below your screen to subscribe.